All right, so for centuries, right, it's been just sitting there, this manuscript taunting us.
Oh, yeah.
This Voynich manuscript.
I know. And I mean, pages and pages, right? Bizarre illustrations.
Fingers got it.
And the plants don't even look like they exist.
Right.
And the script is just completely alien.
Yeah, it's like nothing we've ever seen.
Exactly. And it's just swallowed up so much scholarly effort, right?
Oh my gosh. Countless hours poured over this thing.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
It really is.
How this manuscript, I mean, it's so visually rich, you know?
Yeah.
It's got such a seemingly consistent structure, and yet
It's just completely impenetrable.
it's resisted every single attempt at decryption.
Yeah, and you see those drawings, right? You see that script. It flows, it looks almost calligraphic.
It does.
You just feel like the answer should be right there.
You would think.
It's got to be staring us in the face.
Just out of reach, you know?
Absolutely. And that's what makes it so intriguing, right?
Yes.
When somebody comes along and they propose something new,
I love
a new way to look at it.
Absolutely.
And so that's what we're doing today.
Okay.
We're looking at a historical novel.
Interesting.
It's called The Cipher of Granada by Professor Pr ELY Mustapha.
Okay.
So you might be thinking, what, a novel?
A work of fiction.
Right.
To help us with this historical puzzle.
But hear me out.
Okay.
Because this book, it offers a genuinely compelling and I think a really fresh way
Right.
to think about the Voynich manuscript.
I'm all ears.
Okay, so at the core of Professor Mustapha's idea is this notion that the manuscript itself
Yeah.
might be profoundly connected to the history and the suffering
Right.
of the Moriscos in Spain
Okay.
after the Reconquista.
Now, for our listeners who maybe aren't as familiar with this period, remind us a bit about the Moriscos.
Yeah, so the Moriscos were Muslims in Spain
Okay.
who were forced to convert to Christianity.
Right.
And their history after that point
Yeah.
is marked by really intense hardship and cultural suppression.
Absolutely a very dark period.
Yeah, really, really difficult time. And so it's this historical backdrop
Okay.
that Professor Mustapha uses
Okay.
as this lens
That's right.
through which to look at the Voynich.
I'm following you.
Yeah, so the novel proposes that the manuscript itself could be a coded record of this lost world,
Interesting.
a way for the Morisco community
Okay.
to safeguard their knowledge, their identity
Right.
in the face of this relentless persecution.
Fascinating.
Now here's where it gets really interesting.
Even more interesting.
Okay, so the author suggests
Yeah.
that the Arabic language itself
Oh.
could be fundamental to the script
Now that's fascinating.
of the Voynich manuscript.
Okay, so we're talking about the actual language.
Yes.
Potentially being hidden within the Voynich script.
That's right, and think about it.
Yeah.
This is a time, right,
Yeah.
where Arabic was so central to Morisco identity and culture,
Absolutely.
but it was forbidden
Right.
to openly practice.
So it had to go underground, essentially.
Exactly, and so the idea is that
Okay.
they found a way
Yeah.
to conceal this language within the Voynich script
That's clever.
as this way of camouflaging it and preserving it.
Wow, and that speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It really does.
About the resilience of this community.
Their resourcefulness.
Absolutely facing incredible oppression.
Yeah, just trying to survive.
Trying to hold on to who they are.
Exactly. So the novel centers around
Okay.
this fictional researcher
All right.
named Sofia Ramirez.
Sofia Ramirez.
And initially she's working at the Benecke Library,
Okay, familiar place.
right? And she views the Voynich
Yeah.
with some skepticism.
I mean, can you blame her?
I don't blame her at all.
So many have tried and failed.
Exactly. She even considers,
Yeah.
could it be a hoax?
Right. Is this an elaborate joke that somebody's playing?
Is somebody pulling our leg?
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But her perspective changes
Okay.
when she attends a conference
Right.
on Morisco history. Makes sense.
In Granada.
Okay, so back in Spain,
Back in Spain.
to the heart of where it all happened.
That's right. And it's at this conference
Okay.
that she meets Dr. Amina Hassan.
Dr. Amina Hassan.
And Dr. Hassan introduces this really crucial concept
Right.
of al-Hamiado texts.
Al-Hamiado.
And for those who aren't familiar,
Right.
these were Romance languages.
Okay.
Like Spanish,
Yeah.
written using the Arabic script.
Okay, so not Arabic itself.
Right.
But Spanish written in the Arabic script.
Exactly. And this wasn't just some theoretical idea.
Right.
This was a real historical phenomenon.
Wow.
It was a tangible way for Moriscos
Yeah.
to communicate,
Right.
preserve their cultural heritage,
Okay.
while outwardly appearing to adhere to Christian rule.
It's like a secret code almost.
Exactly.
Hidden in plain sight.
And so for Sofia, this is like a light bulb moment.
Yeah.
It all clicks into place.
Okay, so she's thinking about the Voynich.
She's thinking about that crazy script.
Yeah. And she thinks maybe it's not just gibberish.
Right.
Maybe this is another form
Yeah.
of coded communication.
Like al-Jamiado, but on a much larger scale.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's like this secret archive.
A testament to a lost civilization almost.
Exactly. A civilization that was systematically dismantled.
It's a chilling thought, isn't it?
It really is.
But also kind of brilliant.
So you can see how this novel
Yeah,
offers a completely different perspective
it does.
than all those traditional cryptographic approaches.
Right. The code breakers.
Exactly.
They've been trying for centuries.
They're looking at statistical anomalies,
Right. They're looking for patterns.
linguistic structures.
Yeah.
And this novel is saying, no, no, no.
Put that all aside.
We need to look at the historical context
That's the key.
as the primary key
Okay, I like it.
to unlocking this puzzle.
I do too.
Okay.
Then it raises a big question, right?
Of course.
If it is connected to the Moriscos,
Yeah.
what kind of information might it contain?
Right. What are they trying to tell us?
Exact.
And so the novel explores this
Okay.
through Sofia's research
Right.
into Morisco history.
Makes sense.
And it really paints a picture
Yeah.
of a community that endured not only this forced religious conversion,
Right.
but also a systematic campaign to erase their culture
Oh, wow.
and suppress their intellectual life.
So we're talking about the destruction of knowledge.
Libraries destroyed,
Wow.
voices silenced,
And just fear everywhere,
a
right?
constant fear, suspicion.
People being denounced.
Absolutely.
It's a horrible thought.
And the novel really illustrates how vibrant
Okay.
the Morisco intellectual landscape had once been.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, they
Good.
made huge contributions
Wow.
to philosophy, mathematics, medicine.
Okay, so we're talking about a sophisticated society.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
all of that was driven underground,
Forced into secrecy
hidden away.
just to survive.
Yeah, and so Sofia starts to see the Voynich
Right.
not just as an abstract linguistic puzzle,
Yeah.
but as a repository
A container.
of this lost knowledge.
That's a great way to put it.
And so the novel offers this really interesting first step
Okay.
in Sofia's investigation.
Right.
She focuses on this recurring sequence of glyphs.
Okay.
It's Kokiri,
Kokiri.
and she starts to apply the principles
Right.
of Al-Shamiado deconstruction.
Okay, so how does that work?
So basically the idea is that
Yeah.
if you can understand how Moriscos concealed Arabic sounds,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes even whole words,
Within the Latin alphabet.
yeah,
Clever.
when they were writing in Romance languages, then you can start to unravel
Yeah.
the layers of the Voynich script.
Okay, so they're using the structure of one
Yeah.
language
Right,
to
yeah.
hide another.
Exactly, and potentially uncover these Arabic roots.
Fascinating.
And the novel suggests, for instance,
Mm.
that certain letters
Yep.
might represent Arabic sounds phonetically,
Okay.
even if they don't look like Arabic script.
Didn't-
So this seemingly random string of Latin letters
Yeah.
could, through this Al-Jamiado lens,
Right.
be a phonetic approximation
Wow.
of an Arabic word or a root.
Okay, that's really interesting.
It is, but it's not all just this dry linguistic analysis.
Yeah.
The novel brings in
What else is there?
this really human element
Okay, good.
to the mystery.
I like it.
Sophia starts to suspect that the manuscript
Mm-hmm.
might contain a love story,
Ooh,
which is cool.
I love it.
And it's intertwined with medical practices
Okay.
of that era.
All right.
And so we get into this world
Okay,
of herbal remedies,
I see. So maybe the Voynich is also a medical text.
potentially. And there's this really fascinating connection
Okay.
that the novel draws to
Yeah.
Ibn al-Awam's Kitab al-Falaha.
Okay, now remind us what that is.
Yeah, this is a 12th century agricultural encyclopedia
Okay.
from Al-Andalus.
Right. Is Islamic Spain.
Exactly. And the novel proposes that this text
Yeah.
could be like a key to understanding the botanical content
Okay.
of the Voynich manuscript.
All right. I'm following you.
And it suggests that there are correlations
Yeah.
between the herbal recipes in Ibn al-Awwam's book
Okay.
and the plant illustrations in the Voynich.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder.
It does.
You know, we've been talking about the script,
Right.
but what about those actual visual elements of the Voynich?
Like those weird biological illustrations.
They match up.
Could they be connected?
Exactly. So this is really cool because it suggests that the Voynich might not just be about language,
Okay.
but also about preserving practical knowledge
Right.
related to healing and survival.
Makes sense.
You know, knowledge that's passed down through generations.
Yeah, like folklore almost.
Exactly. And through this lens, Sophia starts to feel empathy
I like this.
for the people behind the manuscript.
That's right. She's connecting with the human side of it.
Exactly. And in particular,
Yeah.
this Morisco Hakima.
Now, what's a Hakima?
A Hakima is a female healer in that tradition.
Got it.
And her name is Laila Al-Zara.
Laila Al-Zara.
And the novel portrays Laila
Yeah.
as living under this constant pressure.
Right. Right. She's in this world where everything she knows is under threat.
Exactly. Her knowledge,
Yeah.
her very identity,
Yeah.
it's all at risk.
But she's strong. She's resilient.
Yeah, she has to be.
And then we have this other character that's introduced,
Okay.
Raphael Cohen.
Raphael Cohen, a Jewish scribe.
Okay, so now we have a Jewish scribe and a Muslim healer.
That's right. And their love story.
Ooh, this is getting good.
It becomes really central to the
Right.
narrative.
All right.
And it really highlights this shared passion for knowledge
Okay.
that they have.
And this is happening
Yeah.
during a time of incredible persecution
Exactly. And it transcends religious boundaries.
and prejudice.
All the things that are trying to keep them apart.
Yeah, it's really powerful.
And so the novel suggests that they collaborated on the creation of the manuscript.
Interesting.
It's like this joint effort
Yeah.
to preserve their cultural heritage.
And their shared love of knowledge.
Exactly, their intellectual wealth.
But this is dangerous, right?
So dangerous. We're talking about the time of the auto da fe,
The burnings.
public
Being
burnings,
frustrated by the Inquisition.
the Inquisitions.
I mean, what a terrifying time.
It's a constant reminder
Yeah.
of the danger that they're in.
I mean, it really makes you think
It does.
about how plausible
Yeah,
such a complex code
right.
would be to create and maintain,
Especially in that kind of environment.
where one wrong step could be the end.
Exactly. And so the novel then brings in
Who else do we meet?
another character,
All right.
Dr. Alessandro Leo Castellano.
Dr. Alessandro Leo Castellano, what a name.
I know, right?
What's his story?
So he's this brilliant but kind of eccentric linguist.
Okay, I like him already.
And Sophia realizes that she needs his expertise
Right.
to decipher the manuscript.
She can't do it alone.
She can't, and so she works really hard
Okay.
to convince him
Right.
of her theory.
About the historical context.
Exactly.
Good for her.
Yeah, and so their initial efforts
Yeah.
are what you might expect.
Okay.
Lots of transcription,
Right.
painstaking.
Of that alien script.
Yes,
And then they're applying her Alchemiado mapping system.
that's right.
Wow, what a task.
It's slow, it's meticulous.
Yeah.
But with Alessandro's insight,
Oh, okay.
they start to identify
Yeah.
potential Arabic roots.
Okay, so they're making progress.
They're making progress.
But then the novel throws in another twist.
It does, it loves to do that.
A good twist keeps things interesting.
And it's a physical clue this time.
Oh, okay, I love physical clues.
So they discover red pomegranate
Pigment.
on folio 78R,
Okay, it's specific.
which immediately connects to
Yeah.
the historical use of
Pomegranate ink.
La tinta de la Granada.
So the ink itself
Yeah,
might be a clue.
exactly. It was a common writing medium. Okay. Among Moriscos.
And maybe even used for coding.
Potentially.
Wow. So Professor Mustapha is really
He has a master
weaving all these historical details into the narrative.
and suggesting that even the materials themselves
Yeah.
could be important.
That's really clever.
And then there's another finding.
Okay, another clue.
This time, it's a faint,
Okay.
six-pointed Star of David.
Okay.
It's subtly integrated
Hidden.
into a floral design
Okay.
on folio 66V.
66V, okay.
And this is powerful
Why is that?
because it suggests a collaboration
Okay.
between the Moriscos and the Sephardic Jews.
Right, they were both persecuted.
Exactly. They both faced expulsion and persecution.
And this shared symbol
Right.
really speaks to that, doesn't it?
It's like a shared identity.
Yeah, a shared sense of suffering.
And this really reinforces the novel's idea
Right.
that the Voynich could be a testament
Yeah.
to their interwoven histories.
Okay, I'm with you.
So then the story expands
Okay, in what way?
beyond language.
What do you mean?
Sophia starts to understand
Yeah.
that the encoding in the Voynich
Right.
might go beyond just words.
Okay, what else?
It might involve symbols,
Okay.
images,
What?
those botanical illustrations, the
Yeah.
astronomical charts.
They could have multiple layers of meaning.
Absolutely. And it really makes you think, right,
It does.
about how we've traditionally viewed the Voynich.
As a linguistic puzzle.
Exactly. But what if it's more than that?
What if it's visual, too?
What if it's this multi-layered,
Like a multimedia code, almost.
right, a multimedia code?
That's fascinating.
And so Sophia decides
Yeah.
she needs to go to Al-Andalus.
Back to the source.
That's right. Specifically Granada and Valencia.
Okay.
Because she believes
Yeah.
that she needs to connect
Right.
the land,
The history.
the history, to really unlock the secrets.
I can see that.
It's a move away from just the books.
Right. From pure theory.
Exactly. She wants to experience it.
To feel it.
Exactly. And so when they arrive in Valencia,
Okay.
Sophia feels this immediate sense
Yeah.
of the city's hidden history.
It's palpable.
It's like it's just below the surface.
Yeah, you can sense it.
And so they explore these historical sites.
Okay, like what?
They go to the cathedral,
The cathedral.
which has this really complex history
Great.
tied to forced conversions,
A dark history.
a very dark history. And then they go to the Lonja de la Seda,
The Lonja de la Seda. Okay.
which are these beautiful silk trading halls.
Okay.
And they find records there of Morisco textiles
Okay.
and confiscated manuscripts.
So evidence of their culture.
Exactly, evidence of this culture that was trying to be erased.
Wow.
And Alessandro,
Yeah.
he's so curious.
I love that about him.
He can't help
This
himself.
got extort.
He goes down into the ancient Quanawat tunnels.
The Quanawat tunnels now, what are those?
These are the Moorish irrigation systems
Okay.
that still exist today.
Wow, so they're still functioning.
They're incredible feats of engineering.
And he finds something down there.
He finds a 15th century vial
A vial. Okay.
containing remnants of pomegranate tannin.
So we're back to the ink.
We're back to the ink.
It's all connected.
It's all connected.
I love it.
And then their research takes this really fascinating turn.
Okay, how so?
They meet this private collector
All right.
who has a 16th century Morisco textile.
Okay, another textile.
And this textile
Yeah.
depicts a woman
Yeah.
holding a book.
Okay.
And the book contains glyphs
Like the Voynich.
that look very much like the Voynich script.
No way.
And even the phrase, kokidi kokain dal,
Same phrase.
the same phrase.
Wow, that's pretty compelling evidence.
It's like they found a visual Rosetta Stone,
It's incredible.
but it's woven in thread.
Amazing.
And that night,
Yeah.
Sophia has this really vivid dream.
I love dreams.
She's in the Quanawat tunnels,
Okay.
and she hears Hebrew, and she sees Lila
Lila the Hakima.
holding a pomegranate blossom.
Okay.
And her book,
Her book, The Voynich.
and it really underscores this idea of this legacy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Being passed down through time.
It's a powerful image.
It is.
And they keep exploring the Quanawat.
They do.
What do they find?
And they find this single glyph
A glyph, okay.
carved into the stone.
Like graffiti almost.
And it perfectly mirrors
Yeah.
a character from the Voynich manuscript.
Wow, so they're literally retracing the steps.
It's like they're walking in the footsteps.
of the people who created it.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
And so they go back to the archives,
Back to the books.
this time the Archivo del Reino
Okay, another archive.
in Valencia,
All right.
and they focus on a 13th century copy
Of
of Ibn al-Awam's Kitab al-Filaha.
the Agricultural Encyclopedia.
That's right. But here's the thing.
What's that?
It has handwritten annotations
Okay.
in Alchemiado.
That's huge.
It's a major breakthrough
It is.
because they start to make connections between the plants in the Voynich,
Okay,
like
yeah.
the one on Folio 35V,
Right.
and their medicinal uses.
As described by Ibn al-Awam.
Exactly.
So they're starting to decode the illustrations.
They are.
That's amazing.
And in those annotations,
Yeah.
they deciphered this phrase,
Okay.
QDSYDY,
QDSYDY,
which they interpret as Quadziade,
which means
holy hands,
holy hands.
which leads them to Quadjudawi,
And that means
may it heal.
may it heal.
And it's just this beautiful blend
Yeah.
of prayer,
Yeah.
practical knowledge.
And a plea for healing.
Exactly. It's all there in this tiny note.
It's incredible.
It's so powerful.
It is.
And they find another note.
Another one.
It says, Al-Hub fi Zam al-Nar,
Okay, what does that mean?
love in the time of fire.
Love in the time of fire. Wow.
And it just perfectly encapsulates
It does.
the historical context.
Yeah, danger.
The danger, the fear.
Persecution.
Exactly. And so they're really starting to understand
Yeah.
the world that this manuscript came from.
It's coming alive for them.
It really is. And they're curious
Okay.
about the celestial imagery in the Voynich.
Right, the astronomical stuff.
Exactly. And so they go to the Museo de la Almoina
The Museo de la Almana. Okay.
in Valencia.
What are they looking for?
They're hoping to find an astrolabe
An astrolabe.
or some other astronomical instrument.
They might shed some light
Wow.
on the zodiacal figures in the Voynich.
Exactly. But they don't find anything.
Not too bad.
But it strengthens Sophia's intuition
Yeah.
that Sephardic knowledge
Okay.
might be.
To understanding the manuscript.
Exactly. And so they go to the center, Isaac ibn Ezra,
Okay.
para el estudio de la historia judía.
The Center for Jewish History.
Yes.
What happens there?
Things take a turn.
Uh-oh.
The Guardia Civil raids the center.
What?
Yeah, it's intense.
Why would they raid a historical center?
It's unclear, but they arrest Samuel. He's the caretaker.
Oh, no.
And Sofia and Alessandro have to escape.
They have to run.
They barely get away.
Wow, that's a close call.
And they end up
Where?
at the Casa de la Imprenta de los Torres.
Casa de la Imprenta de los Torres.
Okay. It's a historic printing house
Okay.
in Valencia.
What's special about this printing house?
They meet Isabel Torres there.
Isabel Torres.
And she's a descendant of
Ah.
a family of printers
Okay.
from the 16th century
Right.
who were sympathetic to the Moriscos.
Okay, so they were helping the Moriscos.
They were.
Interesting.
And they discovered that the family
Mm.
had been concealing texts,
Like what?
prayers codes related to midwifery,
Okay.
hidden inside ordinary books.
Wow, so they were preserving knowledge.
They were risking their lives to do it.
That's amazing.
It's incredibly brave.
It is.
And the family's printer's mark
Okay.
is this six-petaled flower,
A flower, okay.
and it takes on this new significance.
How so?
It indicates that there might be hidden layers
Okay.
in their printed works.
I see, so it's like a secret symbol
Exactly.
that tells you there's more to the story.
You got it. And they learned about the ink.
The ink.
The ink that the family used.
Okay.
It was iron gall ink
Mm.
mixed with pomegranate tannin.
Pomegranate again?
Pomegranate keeps coming back.
I love it.
And this ink,
Yeah.
it has this amazing property.
What's that?
It reveals hidden text when exposed to heat or UV light.
So it's like invisible ink.
Exactly. It's another level of encoding.
Oh.
And they actually use a LUM solution
Okay.
to uncover a hidden message
In one of the books.
in a cookbook.
A cookbook. Okay.
And it's written in Ladino,
Ladino.
which is the
Part
language
of the Sephardic Jews.
of the Sephardic Jews.
Yeah.
And it says
Yeah.
the key is in Virgo's womb.
Virgo's room.
And this directly links
You're the Voynich.
to the Virgo constellation in the Voynich.
Wow, so they're getting closer.
They're getting closer, and then
What happens?
they find a hidden vault
A secret vault?
underneath the shop.
No way. Post speaker.